Before we started with the course material, I want to make a quick video about a few tips that I have for succeeding in an online course. Instead of giving you some general advice, I thought maybe I would just give you some tips that I found that work for me. So I do online courses occasionally to pick up new skills for research. I'm actually doing one right now on some data analysis stuff. And I have maybe 4 tips that I found to be successful for me and that I recommend for you when you're doing this course. So the first piece of advice that I have is to keep a notebook specifically for this course. The course I'm taking right now, I have a little notebook right here. And, I take notes in it and maybe color code them. I found this to be really helpful, and I think you'll find it to be especially helpful in this course because, as I mentioned earlier, I tend to prefer Blackboard lectures. In person, I use a whiteboard. Online, I use this virtual Blackboard that I have. And while I think that's a really engaging way to learn something, it's not that useful for you if you don't take notes. So I really do recommend taking notes. Maybe it can be helpful, like I said, to do some color coding to help you remember, maybe some highlighting, things like that. So that's my first tip: is keep notes and organize them specifically for this class. My second tip, this is maybe a little bit silly, but I recommend watching all the videos, obviously. And then I also recommend taking advantage of the fact that we are in an online format. So if you don't understand something I'm saying, you can pause the video and you can pause and catch up while you're in your notes. You can rewind the video, try and see if watching it again helps it make sense. I find myself doing that quite a lot when I'm learning content via videos. Then this is more of kind of like a neuroscience tip, but it turns out that if you take the learning that you're doing and you spread it out over multiple days, that seems to be more effective per unit of time invested. So I think you'll have more success if you spread out the videos that we watch each week into maybe 2 or 3 different days instead of cramming everything all into one day. And that has to do with some of the science about how your brain actually learns and has to do with sleeping. So it really can help if you learn something, sleep on it, and then learn it again. Likewise, it's also very helpful to do a really brief review of the previous session's material before you start a new session. Now, I'll try to do that in my videos, but I think it'll be especially useful for you if you just look briefly at your notes from last time before you start the next set of videos and check up on, okay, what did we do last time, where are we going, and what are the pieces that I understand, and what am I still a little shaky on? This idea is called spaced repetition, by the way, if you want to read more about it. And then my last tip is to do your best to avoid distractions. I know that especially online, that can be very difficult. But something that I do when I'm watching videos for online courses, I keep my phone in a different room and on silent so that I'm less tempted to be distracted. And I really try not to have other browser tabs open because that will really make the amount that you learn take a nosedive. The good news is, though, unlike, say, a 70-minute in-person lecture, you can take a break. And I try to break these videos up into shorter pieces so that when you're watching the video, you can be fully engaged. And if you need to take a break to do something, then that's fine. You can pause the video or wait till the next video, and I'll be right here when you get back. So I think it's useful to leverage the advantages of the online asynchronous format to the best of your ability. And really, when you are learning, try to be as engaged and as attentive as possible, because you'll find that even without too much time each week, you'll be able to learn quite a bit. So anyways, I hope you found these tips helpful. They've at least been helpful for me when I've been doing learning online. And with that, now we'll actually be able to get into the real content of the course. And I'll see you in the next video for that.